When was the last time you saw me on TV? See, that's not right. With the pandemic, bringing people into my home is kind of risky. But the stars in entertainment, moguls in media, icons in business, political brand names, and hot-stepping trendsetters are coming over. They're coming over for the tea with MisRed. So one thing about me that a lot of people may not know is, as much as I love writing, I actually love reading. And today I get to sit with one person that has written so many books, you'd never believe it. And he's also such an amazing motivational speaker. Let's call him a transformational speaker. And he's very well versed in law because he is a lawyer. So Arthur Marara is going to be with me today on The Tea. If you ever wanted a really great cup of tea, I think now is the time that we're going to have that tea that everyone's going to be talking about, because we've got someone who I believe, when they call him a transformational speaker, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously you're an author, you're a lawyer, but I think you've touched a lot of people's lives because of the depth of what you actually say.
Well, thank you so much.
Myself included.
I'm really humble. I never knew I could touch a person like you.
When they say in church, touch your neighbor. I think you're the neighbor.
I receive.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I love it. I love that you're here. I love that you could make time now. I know 20 books later, you've got new books, and there's so many other things that we can talk about, but I want to start off with just understanding who Arthur is at the beginning.
I'm a very simple person.
Talk to me.
Very, very simple person. I lost my father when I was 18 years of age. Grew up with a single mother. That's why I love single mothers so much.
Hey, and someone needs to love us, because
you do.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of sacrifice to stay with the kids, believe in them, raise them, and that's why I respect my mother so much. And ordinarily, you know what, I don't come from a position of privilege. A number of times when we're having these conversations, the accusation is you're coming and speaking from a position of privilege. No, I don't. My mother was a vendor, sold bananas for me to go to university. And guess what? Those bananas produced a lawyer. So for me, it's also a message that you are actually able to transform your life. And now what I do is pretty much speak a story. About where you are. First born in a family of 5.
Yeah.
And people ask me what's my greatest achievement. It's not the 20 books. It's me being a firstborn in a family of 5 and being able to send my father's kids to school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now out of 5 of us, 4 of us have got master's degrees. The last one is now doing his 3rd year law school. Wow. So I really think from that summarizes me. Yeah, I've seen life. Grew up in Masvingo.
I was about to ask, where did we go?
Yeah. Walked to school 10 kilometers every day. I did high school, check high school in Masvingo. But most importantly, you know what? It's not where you come from. It's where you want to go.
Where you want to go.
Yeah.
So can we go somewhere together?
Let's do it.
I want to just, celebrate you first and foremost, because I think you're one of the voices in Zimbabwe who's been able to speak truth to power in a way that people don't expect.
Thank you.
I know you've got a very controversial position on the church, and we need to talk about that, because a lot of the times we want to crutch on something as Zimbabweans because we have no other hope. So we're saying, okay, we change, and that's all that's where we think from. So I don't know. Where does your controversial stance on the church?
It's not even controversial, eh? I'm the guy who believes in fasting.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who, when I was doing my A-level, I was in a pioneer stream. I did 30 days fasting. I said, God, please change my story.
Yeah.
And after fasting, you read. So I think the problem we're facing with the church, I don't think we're actually teaching the correct gospel. Especially when it comes to things like money.
Yeah.
We should never have financial breakthrough as a prayer point. But that's nonsense, as a matter of fact. MisRed, you don't pray for money.
Yeah.
Money is a byproduct. If you want money, put in the process that will give you the product. A person who is praying for money is akin to a person who is praying for A-level results when they've not registered any single course. You're praying for a harvest when you've not planted anything.
Yeah.
And you're even going to the farm religiously to see the progress of a place where you've never planted anything. What I really want to believe is the church, if we really begin to master the principles, according to the Bible itself, let's teach people principles of hard work. If you read Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5, one of my favorites, New Living Translation, it says good planning and hard work lead to prosperity. It doesn't say good water, it doesn't say good oil, it doesn't say good fasting, it says good planning and hard work lead to prosperity. But hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. So you can be prophesied all you want, but if you don't understand the principles, you'll be broke. And now we've got several millions of people who call themselves prayer warriors, but they're broke.
Yeah.
Why? Because you don't negotiate with principles. Once you understand principles and you follow principles, your life will never be the same.
Yeah.
So I tell people, if your Mercedes vehicle is due for a service, you don't go into an all-night prayer.
Yeah.
You take it to a garage. Because that's a principle.
Yeah.
If you want to test whether or not your faith works, try to jump off a plane without a parachute. That's when you realize it's not the devil who's going to kill you, it's gravity.
Yeah.
So let's go back to teaching people the principles. Let's go back to reminding people of the principles. Economies globally, they are built by people. And some of the successful economies, they are not necessarily Christian economies. Japan...
Most of them are actually not
yes.
at all.
So Japan, it's a Shintoist economy.
Yeah.
But Japan's GDP is all of us in Africa combined. Talk about Germany, the Holocaust. I don't glorify it. But you see, Germany has been able to produce some of the things that we're using today.
Yeah.
Off record, we're talking about something called Volkswagen.
Yes, Peter.
Volkswagen, if you're driving a Volkswagen, you're driving Adolf Hitler's legacy. This is Adolf Hitler says we want to come up with a people's car. Then a competition is run. And a guy called Ferdinand Porsche wins that competition. He designs a VW, and Volkswagen means people's car. And that's when you get this brand becoming very big. This is the same guy, Porsche, who creates the luxurious Porsche vehicle.
That everyone wants.
But it's coming from a very dark past.
Yeah.
So what am I saying? We need to understand the principles. Pastors, prophets, whatever title, archbishop, archpope, whatever. Let's teach people the principles. Principles of hard work. Let's pray. Prayer, hard work, planning, execution. That's how we change an economy. But not these suds are eating people shouting, I receive all night.
We want some kind of, quick solution. That's
No, it doesn't work that way. There is no quick solution in life. It's all step by step. In fact, there's no elevator to success.
Yeah.
That's why now I can tell you where I came from.
Yeah.
And that's why I have no respect for people who flaunt wealth without disclosing the source. No, God did it. No, please. We should
How did God do it?
How did he do it?
Yeah.
We should have at least an idea that, okay, you started there, then you went there. So right now, one of the problems we're having, MisRed, is we've got a default and a defective value system and a defective mentoring system in Zimbabwe.
Talk to me.
So right now, who are your largest people with the largest following in the country right now?
Ooh. Okay. Off the top of my head, I know Madam Boss.
Yeah.
Passion Java.
Good.
Who else is up there? Yeah.
All right. Then, who speaks business? Who has got the largest following in Zimbabwe? Remove Strive Masiwa.
That's even more difficult.
Good.
Yeah.
Why? Because our generation were entertainment oriented, not education oriented.
Yeah.
So this conversation, put it on Facebook. People are rather prepared to just move on to the next
Yeah,
video.
because that's what I
But the point is, let's invest in learning, not just being entertained.
Yeah.
Because when we learn, we increase our value. And when we increase our value, guess what? We even improve our GDP, our gross domestic product.
Yeah.
That's very important. I was watching a guy called 𝗂𝗶𝗶, this guy from Senegal.
Yes.
You're saying he managed to get a multi-year
The social
deal.
media
Yeah,
star.
the social media guy.
Yeah.
So what's happening? This is a social media guy who is actually realizing that this thing can actually become a business. Then, now you get the proper management. Now you monetize it properly.
Yeah.
Now we can actually realize, oh, a guy from Africa is now making millions on social media.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, what do I want from the church? I want from the church, let's go back to the basics. Let's teach the principles. And by the way, money is universal. It is not religion.
That's very true.
It is not religion.
Yeah.
Business runs on principles, whether you go to church or not. So this year, one of my first talks this year, I was speaking for one of the biggest producers of spirits in Zimbabwe. Yeah, they were planning to do regulatory farms, I say. I was speaking there. Why? Principles. That's why a good church-going person who is confused is going to fail.
Yeah.
When an unbeliever who is very organized is going to succeed. Because success, life runs on principles. So what we need as well for our economy in Zim, we need more economic activity coming from the citizens. I think my sister and says, no, MisRed that's a sign of how shallow you are. Do I have to declare every time? Do you know who control I run my list? Yeah. So you look now, if you type your name, people are so interested in your personal life.
Yes, yes.
They're so interested. They can't mind their business.
Yeah.
That's why I say the reason why some people find it difficult to mind their business is because they have no business in the first place.
Hello, someone. Hello.
So absolutely. there is nothing to mind. So in Zim, I think the conversations we're having as a country, they're really toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're people-centered conversations. Go on Twitter, very angry people.
Yes. And I always often wonder, okay, the anger is there, but how do we even fix it? Because you can just shout to the moon, but if you're shouting to the moon with no solution-driven conversations, what then happens to us?
Sure, it goes back to the individual. You know what? I usually tell people, I hear people are suffering. Guys, that's a very dangerous statement.
Yeah.
Learn to say, I'm suffering.
Because you don't know.
My pastor matsotsi. Don't say my pastor matsotsi. Itimfundiswa wangu itsotsi. Akazi vatsotsi. Iti wangu mukadzi itsotsi. Let's avoid generalization and learn to be very specific, especially on things that have to do with you.
Yeah.
So what I usually believe is we need to make a commitment as individuals to change the nature and the line of our conversations. So me, one of the things, if you notice, I don't pick fights on social media. I don't call out names. That's one of my strengths. I don't.
Yeah.
Why? I don't have that energy. So because, you know what, I value my peace of mind. So don't just join any platform and hotspot my feelings. Don't just
hotspot.
So right now, not because they've seen you, not because they know you, but because MisRed 1, 2, 3. This is where we fail as Zimbabweans. Right now, if you're nominated for international contest, some people rather vote a Nigerian, rather vote a Ghanaian, rather vote you.
Yeah.
Because they can't handle
Is
you.
it a broad Zimbabwean problem?
Can I tell you one thing? We're different, but there are people who are elected to be toxic.
Yeah.
And my encouragement is decide not to be toxic. So if I spend 5 minutes with you, what type of person am I going to live?
Yeah.
Am I going to be a better person or am I going to be a bitter person? I elect to be a better person. If you spend 5 minutes with me, I want you to live an inspired person. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing about me. I love the fact that I'm always inspired when I get to listen to some of your talks and hear you on radio and see you on different social media platforms. So let's talk about the journey of being an author.
Yep.
And we're talking offset about the importance of telling the stories.
The narrative.
Telling stories, or having a narrative.
You're right.
Yeah. So what inspired you to actually become an author?
You know what? I never knew I was going to be writing inspirational books.
Okay.
I just fantasized about writing a novel. I tried it. I couldn't do 2 pages. Yeah, like it was terrible.
Not me.
So at one point in time, because I didn't have the right mentorship and so forth, I almost thought I'm not actually going to do this until something tremendous happened. When I was in A-level, I realized that there was a book called 𝗪𝗪. The guy had done a study guide, so it put questions in the back, so students would read the main stuff, then you can revise at the back.
Yeah.
I came up with an idea. If I could do this for an Old Testament, so instead of writing individual books, I'll put everything in one book. So rather than putting a lot of stuff, I'll just put detailed stuff, enough just to give you perspective. Then I'll put in questions which are thematically arranged.
And they've actually been featured in our curriculum, yes?
7 of them have been approved. Last year, 2 more were approved. So I'm now have 9 books approved, recommended for use in all schools by the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. And by the way, I'm a teacher by calling. Yeah, so it's only last year that I joined the Faculty of Law. Now I'm also teaching at the University of Zimbabwe. So what I usually tell people is, imagine you're a school teacher for 5 years. Why can't you type your notes, package them, sell them as books?
And there's your income.
Simple. So it's always realizing that the thing that will change your life is not necessarily far away from you. So for me, that journey of writing those study guides exposed me to one thing that I never knew, that I actually love writing inspirational messages. And for the first time after the study guides, I came to realize, I think this is actually me.
And around what time was that, or what year?
No, my first book I started writing on guava paper when I was doing temporary teaching, 2004. I only got it published 9 years later.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a wait. But
Long
see, if you really
Why?
love, you know what, number one, you don't know how to do it. You approach publishers, they say we're not interested. But I really thank God for every publisher who said no. They showed me a better way of doing it.
Sure. Because I'm also, I wrote and I was thinking, how do I get published? And there's all these questions. But how did you then get past that?
You know
all
what?
these people saying no.
You know what, God connected me with the right people. He did, like one person. And I didn't even have the money. Guess what? He sponsored it from his own pocket.
So you're not self-published?
No, I actually self-published,
But,
so I set up my own self-publishing. And I think, if you look at the quality of my books, I've mastered the principle. So now I'm firmly in control of the process. So I never knew I was going to be doing all that, but no, I also got invitations to be writing in newspapers. That actually set me up for a speaking career. So I never thought I was going to be speaking in front of people.
Because that's where I was going to go next.
Yeah,
To say,
so,
okay, you're an author, but you also speak.
Yeah, I do.
Transformational speaker.
So I got a U in maths at O-level, C English O-level.
A
C,
U in
yes,
maths?
it's ungraded, meaning they couldn't find any grade.
Right.
So yeah, I got a U in maths to O-level. And so they say, I don't want to understand. So no, to party with MisRed this tournament as we speak.
Without.
Yeah, and so I don't plan on writing maths again. Never.
Oh, I'm still
I find why want to say so yeah, so but again, why I got to you now, I begin to understand. It's you surround yourself with people who say maths is hard.
You believe that.
I just lost interest. Yeah, so I've already seen English at O-level. And CA level and third class university communication skills. Yeah, so pretty much if a person like me that's seen English can speak correct English, there's hope for everyone.
And be paid to speak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Be paid to speak.
I actually think I have a similar story. I think I got a C.
Wow.
In English.
That's powerful.
So yeah.
At least I feel at home now.
Right?
Yeah. so for me, speaking became very interesting. Why? Because I'm like, oh, okay. Someone calls and say, no, Arthur, if you can speak the way you write, I think you make a great speaker. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. So now you've had to gather the confidence to stand in front of people and to be able to actually deliver a talk that people can listen to. But I think it's been a very exciting journey. Yeah, and I think one of the things that I encourage people is the moment you find your passion, you find your purpose, you find your gift, the world will find you and they'll pay you.
Very true. But someone was actually saying to me the other time, when you do what you love, you don't have to work a day.
No, you don't. So like now people actually tell them, I'm not a motivational speaker. That's one of the things that I always call it, but I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm a lawyer who happens to speak.
Yeah.
And those two things are very different. So if I actually stop speaking right now, I've got a very healthy life. But why do I speak? Because I also want to inspire others. I also want to encourage other people. Yeah, so for me, I'm really grateful that God caused me to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But most importantly, one of the things that I've learned is once you find your area, God begins to connect you with the right people.
Yeah, that's very true. Because sometimes it's not because you've got great skills or you've gone to school for it. Like you're saying, you had a U in maths and all these grades that probably wouldn't have left you in those spaces had they looked at your CV.
You're right.
But connecting through God.
True. For me, I'll tell you one thing. My success is very spiritual. Yeah, so some people think I didn't do church. No, that's not my kind of it. I live a very miraculous life, by the way. Yeah.
Although the principle is there.
Yeah, no, I do.
But.
So mine is different. It's because I activate my gift. So if I want to travel, like if I want to go to Victoria Falls, I just tell God I want to go in Victoria Falls. You know what happens next? I get a call. Hi, Arthur, I want you for a conference. That's what I do. That's why I do my holiday. I don't pay for holidays. I get flown to holidays. Yeah, that's the miracle level. Now I understand that I can place a demand on my gift.
Placing a demand on your gift.
Yes.
Taking notes.
So place a demand on your gift. Find that gift. And once you find that gift, you're creating an avenue for God to bless you. So, God can't come from heaven and say, here's $100. No, it doesn't work that way. So you create a platform, you create a system where those things begin to happen. And the Bible says the Lord will bless the work of your hands, meaning you need to have somewhere where your hands are touching. And that's how you change your life.
Sure. So I know that for a lot of people in Zimbabwe right now, they're probably thinking we're at our worst.
No, we're not.
Okay. And they need someone to just remind them about where they are and where they can go.
All right. MisRed, I'll be very honest with you. In Zimbabwe, everything that you say is always taken to be political. But I want to be honest with you.
Oh, I can attest to that. I can wake up and put a dot and it's political.
So you go on our posts on Facebook, Instagram. There's hashtag registered to vote. For the record, I'm registered to vote. Yes. And for the record, I've voted in the last elections.
It's your constitutional right.
It's my right.
Yeah.
And secondly, I want you to realize one thing. Whilst you're waiting to vote, what are you feeding on? So I want you to realize the bulk of the work is actually you taking responsibility for your life. It's not an election that will change your life, MisRed. It's an election to change your life that will change your life. Why? Because, trust me, 2023 are the next elections. And out of interest, I want you to imagine how old you're going to be in the next elections. Then, I know you're going to be saying, hey, I'm not happy, hey, I'm not happy. Then add another 5 years. That'll be 2028. How old will you be?
I'm not happy.
Yes. How old are you going to be?
So
maybe you want to go. So rather than just wait on elections, I want you to begin to do things that are within your control.
Yeah.
You are in control of how many hours you sleep. You're in control of the people you talk to on WhatsApp. You're in control of the programming you watch on TV. You're in control of the things that you read. You're in control of the places that you can actually go. Work on the things that are within your control. And once you work on things that are within your control, that's how you begin to change your life. There's so many people right now who are not politicians, who have made it in life. In Zimbabwe.
And they're living beautiful lives.
Beautiful.
And I keep saying this to people.
You know, I've had the privilege of meeting people. Why? Because, you know what, because of the messages, you get to experience the results. I'm talking about ordinary Zimbabweans who are focusing on the things that are within their control. And these are the people who are waking up every day and realizing, I have a project to pursue, I have a business to run, I have chickens to look after, I have my tobacco to look after. These are Zimbabweans. They're making it happen. So what we need to do is to be able to have a mindset shift. Because if we don't have a mindset shift, we are going to be in trouble. Why? Because akuna hurumende inofamba ichiridzira vanhu bhera vanzi guys mukai muite serious. It doesn't work that way. It's you understanding that you've got a role to play and you're the main actor in the story called your transformation. And once you understand that you've got a role to play, be proactive about it. Don't wait for someone to come and change your life. It doesn't work that way. So for someone who wants to change their life, the good news is you can change it. And the bad news is no one is coming to do it. That's why I've actually done a book, No One Is Coming.
No one is coming.
No one is
so
coming.
I'm seeing it right here. Talk to me very quickly about it.
So No One Is Coming, the subheading is time to take charge of your life. You know, I refuse to wake up every day and be angry at people. I refuse every day to wake up and say, why did my father die? No. Sure. I grew up in a very difficult life. I really thank God for a very strong parent. But at no point in time was I ever angry at my father's family for not stepping in. And so a single mother. But now I thank God because I realized, God was giving us a very important lesson that you can rise. So No One Is Coming is understanding that you have to take responsibility for your life. And I want you to notice one thing, that globally, the number of billionaires has actually grown to over 2,000. COVID period. These are people where things were tight. The number of billionaires has actually grown. Why? Because rather than to complain, they looked for a solution. And this is in for you. Rather than complain, look for solutions and begin to take responsibility day in, day out. That's why I don't join every WhatsApp group. As a matter of fact, I've ensured that you can't add me to any group. Even if we're friends, even if I've added your number, if you add me to a funny group, I'll leave. My sanity is important. I run away from toxic setups. I run away from following toxic people. On social media, I don't. Why? Because I don't want to be programmed in the wrong way. So in Zim, trust me, when other people are looking at seemingly difficulties, others are actually looking for the opportunities. Others are actually saying, how can we make things happen? And I think these are the conversations that we need to make, rather than to join the crying groups. Rather than wake up and complain about what is not working, I really think you need to wake up and identify what is working. I really think you need to wake up and look for the opportunities every day. Right now, look, during the COVID period, the number of people who started businesses in delivering. Just as my basco rumondo together. These are people realize, okay, people can move, but they need the product. So what do? We get them. Rather than just waking up and saying, some guy, a Chinese guy, came from China, he says, oh, okay. He says, no, you can purify this. And he looks at his bottle and it's called Zimbabwe Life is Good. ZLG. Someone,
that's what it means.
Zimbabwe Life is Good. Someone who comes into Zim sees an opportunity where everyone is seeing disaster. So I'm saying we need to change how we think. Because no one is coming to do that for us.
Take time to take charge of your life.
True.
All right, because no one is coming.
True. So you want a better life? Create it. You want a better health? Take responsibility. You want better finances? Take responsibilities. Which is why it's very negligent for you to think it's a man who's going to come and change your life. It doesn't work that way.
It's you.
That's why one of the things that I give for ladies, if you want to have your pride, your confidence, don't take money from men. Make your own money.
All right.
Simple.
That's a really powerful statement, man. Arthur, we can go on and on and on. But you, this book, this is the latest one. No One Is Coming.
Latest one, so actually I've done 3. Latest one, No One Is Coming. Then one of my favorites, Toys for Adults. Toys for Adults, that's this one here. Toys for Adults, you know, it's one of the things that I think we have not been told. I hear people getting so excited, no, I'm an executive of this company, XYZ. But the same way you're hired is the same way you're fired. So,
I was coming about even if it was.
Yeah. So you also need to be able to create massive and passive streams of income. And that's what I'm actually sharing in that book. And take a lesson from the ants, inspired by Prophet VI, self-leadership. I'm sharing about personal leadership, lessons for success. And I believe there's so many places where we can actually learn. And one of them is the NTL. Yeah, very small guys, but very confident. These are guys who make things happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what we need in Zimbabwe. People that make things happen.
True.
Right?
And the good bit is you who has to make things happen.
Woo! Yes, indeed. Arthur, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're going to continue having our tea.
I love that.
But thank you for sharing. And I think the principle is one of the best things I've heard so far. And I really need to work on my principle.
I'm really honored.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
All right.